Now you're listening to Fantastic Formosa with Jon Abrams in Taipei. Here we are again. Welcome to the show. This is Fantastic Formosa. I'm Jon. We have a special guest today from Peru, and I believe that's in South America, right?
Yep.
All right. Tell us about your name. I had trouble, trying to pronounce it.
So it's Nicolas, because in Spanish we just make the A sound stronger, Nicolas.
Uh-huh.
But pretty much everyone either call me Nico or Nicolas.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever works, it's okay.
Right. Well, thanks for coming on the show today.
Welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we talk about Taiwan and your experiences in Taiwan and how much you either love or hate the place. We know that many people come here from other countries to study, and that's what you're doing here, right?
Yes, I came here the first time to study. I'm really happy I graduated. But yeah, the point of being in Taiwan the first time here was studying.
So what did you study in Peru, or did you go to Peru University? Did you go there for university or somewhere else?
Not really. So I had a very different way to get to Taiwan.
Okay.
I came here when I was 15.
Wow, 15. So this is not really a foreign place to you. It might be home.
Yes, it's been a while. And
you got here at 15, and how long were you here?
So in that period of time, since 2012 until now, I've been in Peru about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So the rest of the time, pretty much most of my adult life, I've been here.
You're not even from Peru. Well, then, what were your parents business folks here, or what?
So I did an exchange program from
exchange.
Yes, from the Rotary Club.
Rotary Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I came here, and a Taiwanese kid went to Peru to my house.
To your house.
Yes.
And you went to his house.
Not really, but the same district. Because
Okay.
the Rotary Club is divided in different districts around the world.
Okay.
So it worked a little bit like that. I came here, I stayed with a Taiwanese family.
All right.
That were great with me. I went to the Rotary Club here. And because of my age, I went to high school here.
Wow. Where did you go to high school?
It's called Minda High School in Sanxia.
Wow. So you're really in the world of Taiwan. I mean, you are in high school, in a local high school. You're not in a what we call an American school or European school at all?
No, it was a Taiwanese school.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a deep dive into being Taiwanese. All right. So, you graduated high school here?
Kind of. So
Okay.
not really. I did 1 year.
Oh, okay.
1 academic year. And then I went back to Peru to finish high school there.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, with some of your old classmates, of course.
Yeah, pretty much continued.
And then did you go to college in Peru, or did you, what happened?
No. So after I graduated from high school in Peru, I started working. And then the opportunity to come to Taiwan to study Chinese showed up. So I decided to come back. I think it was 2 years lapse since the end of my high school in Taiwan until coming back to study Chinese.
So you really did a different route than normal people. Most people in America, for example, graduate high school and they go to a local school and local university, and then they hope and dream to go to Taiwan to study Chinese. You just skipped it all. That seems to be a good way of doing it, I think. So you returned to study Chinese. Where did you go to school?
So I went to NCCU in Muza around the zoo.
All right.
And it was a great experience. I studied there for about a year. I think it was a year.
Mm-hmm.
I got to improve a lot of my Chinese because in high school I will be speaking a lot, but I will not be writing a lot of Chinese.
That's
it was more
yeah.
speaking, so I was able to learn the writing part, the calligraphy part, which was really fun.
Wow. So are you able to read and write now?
Most.
Okay.
Yeah, the useful things for me.
Useful
I will not
stuff.
say
All right.
fluent. I think Chinese is one of those languages that you always keep learning something.
Yeah, of course.
Or struggle, that's a way to say.
Yeah, if you're not born and raised here, it's not easy. And you were at Mucha, right? And the name of the university in Chinese is what?
Zhenta.
All right. That's a very famous school. A lot of foreign students go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. Very international school, great teachers. The campus was really big and with a lot of nature, and it was nice.
Monstrous, yeah. It's a beautiful area too. Mountains and so you spent 1 or 2 years there?
I spent 1 year there before moving to another university to actually study my major.
Which is?
International relations and diplomacy.
Wow, okay. Mm-hmm. International relations and diplomacy in the Chinese language, or was it in the English or some other language?
It was in English. It was an international program.
So you knew English from your high school days, or what?
I guess because my English improved a lot when I was in Taiwan, because the first few months I will be speaking English instead of Chinese, and I will be learning Chinese in English.
Right.
So my English improved a lot during that time. And I also studied for some time English back home, because a lot of schools, not all, but a lot of schools teach English as second language there.
It's a lot easier if you speak a language like Spanish to learn English and vice versa.
I guess easier than Chinese.
Yes, yes. And so your parents are still, of course, in Peru. What kind of work do they do?
So my mom works in what's that called, dairy industry.
Dairy industry, milk and cheese, I guess.
Yes,
right?
she brings cheese and yogurt products from the highland of Peru to Lima.
Wow. Okay, the highlands.
Yeah.
Now you have is that where that strange animal is? What is it called?
Oh, the llama?
The llama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite a camel. It's not quite a
horse either. Yeah, it's just a llama.
A lot of Chinese think the llama is very cute. Is that true, or are they kind of mean?
I mean, they can be cute. They definitely can be mean. You know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they
and they
tend
spit,
to spit.
I think,
yeah,
right? Like camels. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How much interaction have you been with these animals?
Not much, because Peru is actually huge.
Oh,
so
really?
I live in Lima, which is next to the ocean, and it's a desert as well.
Oh, what?
And yes.
Okay, desert beach area.
Yes, right. And then you need to drive for a long time up the mountain to see llamas or alpacas, which is another animal similar to a llama.
Okay.
So yeah, because it's really high, very, very high mountains with snow and lakes, and then if you go even further, you get to the Amazon rainforest.
Oh my gosh,
so
it's
Peru
completely
is
different.
Yes,
yeah.
It has
so you have the Amazon, you have mountains, jungles, I guess, and you have desert.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. When I think of Peru, I think of a very, very narrow country. That it's long, but it's not very wide.
You might be thinking of Chile, which is right under
Chile
Peru.
Chile is very narrow too.
Yes,
yeah.
And then Peru kind of opens, like it gets wider.
Okay. You know, a lot of folks here study Spanish here in the military. It's one of the most common languages in the military besides English. So, if you ever want to throw in a Spanish word, that'd be great for something. Now I have to ask you one question that confuses a lot of even myself sometimes. So when we talk about Latin America and South and Central America, what are we talking about? Is Latin America both?
So Latin America is pretty much the countries in the American continent that speaks languages that come from Latin, including Brazil, because they speak Portuguese.
So this includes Mexico all the way down to Argentina.
Yes.
So I can call it Latin America, or I can call it a certain area, Central America, for example, for Guatemala or El Salvador.
Yes, you can also divide it by north, which includes Canada, United States, and Mexico. Central America, that are the countries from below Mexico, probably all the way down to Venezuela.
Okay.
And from Venezuela down, that's South America.
Right, right. A lot of talk here is about the Amazon rainforest, depletion, the destruction of the Amazon. Is that a serious problem for your country?
I think it's a serious problem for every country, but especially Peru, Brazil, the other countries that share the Amazon. There's a lot of animals there that don't exist anywhere else.
Right.
There's a lot of group of people that live there that
groups.
are indigenous from there.
Right.
There are many languages there and culture that can be lost if the Amazon changes too much. My dad himself, he was from the Amazon.
Really, your father?
Yeah, he was from a small city in the Amazon in Peru called Iquitos.
So what did he grew up in a very poor environment, or was it a small city, you say?
It's a very tiny city next to a river. It might be the Amazon River.
Okay.
And yes, he grew up in an orphanage. And until
orphanage.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was older, he moved to Lima.
All right. All right. Well, that's a success story, we call it.
It is, definitely, yeah.
A success story when someone comes from an orphanage, a poor background, and they rise and become successful and have a great family. And yeah, wow. That is amazing. I hate to ask you, but did he learn any of the Aboriginal languages?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just this situation he lived in, it wasn't in a tribe or in a very specific ethnic group, so he couldn't learn. And as well, there are thousands of languages there, and each group has a different variation.
Is anyone trying to capture these languages in a recordings and trying to learn them for future study?
Yes, there are always studies in the language in whole Peru, because Peru is very diverse country.
Right.
Even if you see South America or like the whole American continent, each country has a different way to speak Spanish.
Right.
So within Peru, we have different languages as well. Just Peru has 3 official languages.
Wow.
And then we have hundreds of other languages that are spoken there.
Well, we don't have that in Taiwan, but we do have varieties of languages.
Yeah, for different groups as well.
Of course, there's mainland Chinese and there's Taiwanese. And, of course, there's others like Hakka and others. But to have hundreds of different dialects, no. A dialect is a type of language. I want to make sure everyone knows what that means. So this is a very interesting culture. It's a blend of different groups. Does everybody get along?
Yeah, I think most of the time, at least. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a fairly peaceful country.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because when I read the newspapers, I always wonder about the South America, Central America. There's crime. There's stories about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole continent is known for being, you can say, dangerous in some aspects.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's at the same time it's a very warm country. We're very warm people. We know
compared to the Taiwanese, because the Taiwanese are very friendly.
It's very similar, actually. Yeah, we have this sense of community as well.
Wow,
which is great, you know, to have known that you can trust, or at least you can relate to people around you.
Well, if you need help, they'll help you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because I always imagine, as a child even, that there were guerrillas, soldiers in the mountains that would kidnap you. And is that
I mean,
is that the movies, or is that potentially problematic?
There are definitely groups and people that are like that.
Ugh.
But I guess it's just not going to the wrong place at the wrong time, right?
Really? Yeah. And you don't know where that is or what time that might be.
Well, there are definitely areas. If anyone which is foreigner goes to Peru, you will see like the main areas that you walk around, the tourist areas that are perfectly safe and like good to walk around, and so much history around that you can see each building might be 100 years old.
And different style, maybe? Different influence?
Yes, influence.
What's the predominant influence? Foreign influence? Is it Spanish? Is it
yes, definitely Spanish.
Right,
yes,
right.
The Lima center, the downtown, it's full of Spanish-style buildings. They are super old and beautiful and tall, and
they take care of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Right. It's been kind of hard in some countries, I imagine. They've been trying to do that here in Taiwan recently over the past 10 or 15 years, trying to preserve some of these old buildings.
Yeah.
But before, they just sort of let them go.
Yeah, some buildings are hard to maintain, and 100, 200 years ago, there wasn't a good material to build buildings sometimes. So, of course, those buildings won't be as good. But the main buildings, important ones, they're just there.
Right.
Still strong, yeah.
Still there. Did you grow up in one of these types of?
Not really. I grew up. You can say that's how we call it, suburb.
A suburb.
Suburb.
Of the city. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And your neighbors were basically very friendly and outgoing, and everyone knew each other. And
yes, pretty much. So I guess before I was born, they bought the land there, and they built a house, and all the neighbors around were from the same time, so they all lived there for a very long time. They all knew each other.
Wow.
Yeah, going for walks in the morning, you will say hi to everyone. And
of course, like here almost.
Yeah, the people in the store around my house, they will know me, my dad, my mom, my brother.
That's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
I have the local shop owners complain to my wife that I eat too many candy bars. So she lets me know. So sometimes you want some privacy, I guess. Great. So here you are studying. Did you finish your degree in international relations?
Yes, it was great. It was a great program to study in Taiwan University.
Oh yeah, good school.
Yeah, it was really fun. A lot of interesting stuff to learn. Yeah.
So what was your main focus?
So my main focus was actually I did you can say my research paper.
What was tell us about your research paper?
It was mostly comparing economic models in different countries and how
Asian countries or just in general?
Asian countries, and how it could be similar economic models to grow the country and how it worked different as well. Yeah. So it was pretty much how just the idea of like the same or very similar model works in different environment. It might have different result. Yeah.
Well, cultural differences also make these economic models different a little bit, I suppose. Yeah. Japanese versus, Korea.
Yeah.
Very different cultures.
But it was fun. I mean, the fact that it was an English program, the professors in that university, most of them were great professors. So
are they educated mostly in the West or?
Some, because the program was international relations, and in English we had a lot of foreign professors.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you had foreigners.
Yeah, we have both Taiwanese professors and foreign
like
professors.
Americans, British, Australians.
We actually, you say it just right. We had American, we had British, we had one Australian.
Okay.
German. I think we had one Swiss professor,
that's
one
nice
from
mix.
Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice mix of people, different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So how long did your program last? How long did it take you?
4 years.
4 years. Now that's a bachelor or?
Yes, bachelor's.
So you finally did get a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a plan for a master's degree or a PhD?
Maybe in the future, because social science is, again, a thing that you always keep learning. You always keep progressing. So maybe in the future, but yeah. Future plan.
Well, so you finished your degree, and when did you finish it?
I think it was 2021 or 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not sure the year, COVID.
Yeah, I think the COVID period was
all right.
very hard to keep track,
Yeah. And then, so you've been here 2 years. What have you been doing for 2 years?
So I'm an artist now.
An artist?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big jump from economics to what kind of art is it?
So I do different type of arts. my main artwork is being a tattoo artist.
What kind of artist? Sorry?
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Yes. And I also do mixed media art.
Mixed media. Now that's
Yes.
video or what?
No, that's pretty much either drawing or painting with different materials. I don't focus on only one style, either oil paint or charcoal or just ink. I do all of them and I mix them together.
What's the subject that you? Is it abstract?
Mostly abstract. Yes.
Okay, abstract means something that is hard to define. It often has a feeling about it.
Yes,
right?
it's most a feeling rather
Right.
than a picture that you cannot understand in the spot.
Yeah, some famous abstract artists. What painters? Picasso, maybe. Is Picasso an abstract painter?
I don't think he's entirely an abstract artist, but a lot of abstract artists can get inspiration from him.
Right.
You know.
Right. I look at abstract art, and I don't know if the painting is upside down or.
Me too. So you're not alone there. Yeah. Sometimes I'll finish a painting. I'll be like, okay, so what's the best side for this one? You know, should I flip it or leave it like that? So you're not alone there.
Do you sell your art?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, mostly through social media.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
How do you ship your art? How do you, if someone buys your art overseas, for example? That can be a headache, right?
Yes, the mail system in Taiwan is great.
Oh, yeah.
So when it gets out of Taiwan, sometimes you can have problems. But if it's within, but if it's within Taiwan, it's great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the system here is great for that.
You can send 7-Eleven packages around the island as well. Yeah, it's amazing. So, how many have you sold? I mean, I don't want to drill down too far on this, but are you successful, or are you just right now enjoying and learning about the experience?
I guess both. As you learn and enjoy the experience, you get to grow more and more as an artist. You get to learn new techniques. You get to sell more stuff. So I think it's a growing process. You know, it's not something that you get to one point and say, okay, I'm done.
All right.
It's something that you always grow with. Tattoo as well. It's a skill that you learn.
All right.
Yeah, as any skill, you can always improve.
Well, tattoo, you don't actually do the needle injecting the ink into the skin, do you? Or do you do just the drawing?
No, I do the whole process. Yes, the drawing, the setting appointment, the doing the tattoo on the skin.
I might need some work done on a very old tattoo I got 30 years ago in Hong Kong. Just clean it up. It's beginning to fade. So that would be called maintenance. Old man. The tattoos, what kind are they? What do they look like?
I mostly do fine line work, and
that would be very
delicate.
Yes. Okay.
And I also include some abstract things on tattooing. Yes.
See, abstract would confuse me because your skin begins to fade. It fades after a while. And before you know it, my dragon I got in Hong Kong now looks abstract. It no longer looks like a dragon.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty with a tattoo. It grows, it changes with you. So it's not just something that you get once and will stay like that forever. It's a constant change with your body as well.
Right. What do you charge normally for a tattoo?
It really depends on the design, on the work
size,
you have
maybe.
to the size. Yes.
What's the biggest you've done? The whole back or the arm or?
Funny enough, the biggest tattoo I've done was on myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Because you do it in a mirror, or was it on your back or front?
It was on my leg.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That would be a little easier, I think. Okay.
Yes, you can see it.
You can actually see it.
Yes, and I was very lucky. Parts that I couldn't reach, my wife was able to help me.
She made it extra painful, probably. I know the areas around the bone, like the ankle bone, for example, can be extremely painful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But about 30 years ago, I got a dragon in Hong Kong. I did it what I call the old-fashioned way, drunk, that was my impression as a growing up, that people did that. That's what we did as men. Then it became popular in America just to have one. People, tattoo parlors and shops began to open up in college campus areas. I go, this is not right. You're supposed to earn your tattoo in a very exotic, distant country, with mysterious things going on.
Yeah, I guess the whole industry changed a lot.
Yes.
In the few recent years, and it's also very old tradition. I mean, the first tattoos go way back.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you add color too. It's just not. Do you ever add color to your stuff, or are these are different kinds of needles that do that kind of work, right?
It's actually the same needle. We just change the inks, but we have different type of needles depending the design.
Some are a little wider than, I've seen those.
It's always experience to see the face of the clients when you grab the bigger needles,
So, have you ever done the kinds of tattoos that someone gets a tattoo and they get their girlfriend's name on it? It's a classic story. Somebody gets a heart with their girlfriend's name on it, and then they break up, and then now they have to change the tattoo. Have you done any modifications to old tattoos?
Well, I always try to avoid doing girlfriend's tattoos, or boyfriend's
somebody comes in and says,
like
"Can you fix this for Mary to Sally?"
Yeah, but I definitely got to fix a few tattoo mistakes that people have done.
All right. What do you think? A lot of Taiwanese laugh at American basketball players who get these Chinese tattoos, and they don't realize that it means nothing.
Yeah, but funny enough, because I always talk about this with people I work with, because they're Taiwanese, and they're always afraid to do the same mistake, but with English or Spanish.
Sure, yeah, oh my God.
Because I guess Taiwanese people will get a random phrase in Spanish, and it could be whatever,
I have no idea what it means.
Yeah, and Americans having like chicken soup in Chinese, you can have Taiwanese having chicken soup in Spanish, You never know.
That's not something I'd be proud of. I'm sorry. Chicken soup. What does that mean? So I have to ask you some basic questions regarding how did you learn to be a tattoo artist? I mean, did you just pick up some needles one day and how do you practice to become a tattoo artist? Do you get a pig and tattoo the poor thing up?
I mean, you can, I guess. But I think it's different. It's just a skill that you learn. You have to improve over time. You need to know how to draw. Because a lot of the technical aspect of the tattooing comes to how good you are at drawing.
Right.
I was very lucky that I drew since I was a kid.
Right.
I always liked to draw, to do art, do studies of animals or people, bodies, stuff like that. So drawing was something that was always an interest of me. I was also lucky that from some time I reached studios and they will teach me a little bit over time.
And here in Taiwan?
Both in Taiwan and in Peru.
Do they have a different method? Some sort of different way of doing it?
Not really.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think because the technical aspect of tattooing, is pretty straightforward. Like what to do with the needles, how deep they go into skin, how to clean your station. Yes, those things are universal.
Sanitation,
Sanitation, yes.
Infection.
And when I graduated, there was this lapse of time where we had the pandemic, so almost everyone was just doing nothing. So I decided to pick it up again and improve, get better, and then I got people to help me practice with, because in one point you need to do that leap from doing in synthetic skin or practicing.
You have synthetic skin you can practice.
Yes.
Where do you buy that? That's not exactly a 7-Eleven product.
No, not really. You need to go on the internet to find those to get it shipped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what is synthetic skin exactly? Is it literally synthetic? It's plastic or some...
I think it's
fabric?
rubber.
Rubber? Or
probably.
Okay.
To be honest, I've never stopped and think about it too
you
much.
just buy it. It could be from some poor guy. It was
but it's definitely feel like rubber, so it could be like plastic synthetic.
Okay. Interesting. This is, I only have a couple, and I got them before it became a fad. And when I first got mine 30 years ago, my parents were very upset. They said, "What do you think you are, in a gang or a member of a biker gang?" Or I just decided that, that's what you do when you go overseas and go on an adventure.
Yeah.
You go on an adventure and get your mark, your scar. So, what do you think of all this new tattoo stuff regarding scarring? Some of it uses heat, what do you call that stuff? For animals like us, right? Branding with hot iron.
Yeah,
what do you think about that stuff? That's scary.
I will not get it on myself, definitely.
No.
And I will not get it on people, but I think it's also a part of cultures that people do or things. And if they want it in their body, I guess it's just... And someone is willing to do it, following the right process, the right sanitation, the right way, I guess.
Have you seen any of these? Or
no, not really, actually. I don't think it's that common in Taiwan.
I saw a few when I was younger, mostly U.S. Marine Corps people that have these very, oh my God, usually they got them after combat fighting, and they felt like they earned it. So I think, well, go ahead, I guess.
I think every mark in the body, it's just a next step on whatever you're doing or...
Right. What about this piercing stuff that people do in very private places in their body? Is that dangerous or...
I think if you follow the right sanitation process...
You keep using the word sanitation and
because it's very important. It is really important to learn that. But again, I think infections in general in the tattoo or piercing industry are very low. I mean, I've seen like face-to-face people in the Amazon rainforest getting tattoos in the middle of the jungle with wooden needles.
Wow.
And ink that they just make on the spot, and they don't get infections. So
well, they are Amazon. They grew up there. They probably have a completely different immune system than you and
I guess if you follow the instructions, I think you should be fine.
Now, when they use those wooden needles in the Amazon, I've seen them do it. They sort of twist them, don't they, as they put them in?
Kind of. And they put in a long stick and then hit it. It's very similar to the, what's it called, Maori tattoo style.
Maori, Australia. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting stuff. Do you think it's gone too far in some places in America? I've seen people do their faces completely with tattoos.
I think because it's getting more accepted over time, kind of the limit keeps moving forward. So I think in some point it will be so common to see people with face tattoos that it will not really matter. Because before, I guess people will say, oh, you might not get a good job if you have your hand tattoo or your face tattoo.
Yeah.
But I think it's getting so popular and so normal.
Right.
And it's not, because before it was like very like gang people will get tattoos.
Gangs,
because now it's not just that.
Right.
It just get more accepted, I guess.
Interesting. So you're doing all this art now, and you've walked away from your international affairs, global economy issues. It's a very radical change, I think, right? So, I'm a father. I have 2 children. I worry about their education. I want them to make money. I want them to have a career. I want them to provide for their families. So what's the plan?
So it is a big industry, actually. I think because it's so big, it can be saturated as well.
Yes, saturated, completely.
But there is a lot to do and a lot of work to do. There's a lot of money in these industries.
Right.
that before they weren't big industries. They was having a tattoo studio. You will have a small shop somewhere, and you will have a very specific group of people going there to get tattoos or buying art. Today, I think because of the internet as well, social media, it's so big.
Oh, yes.
You can make a living out of art or out of tattoo. It's just, at the same time, it's very saturated. It's very accessible.
But people could steal your designs as well very easily on the internet, right?
Yes, but I think at least for both the art industry and the tattoo industry, you pay the artist. There are a lot of people that will take a design or a good font on the internet, will get that tattoo. But there's also now this thing that you go to the tattoo artist or you buy this piece of art because the person that did it. So you grow on this industry, in this platform, and you make your name bigger and you make yourself better as well. So your quality will be better. So the mix of these two, they just keep growing and growing,
So you have an interesting, what we call skill set. You do tattoos, you do art, regular art, abstract art, and you also have a background in international affairs.
Yeah.
So I think you can, when I tell my children, I say you should have as many skill sets that you can use in the future to survive.
Yes, it's always important. You keep more doors open, the more you learn, the more skills you have.
Yes.
The easier, not just
to survive.
Yes.
In a very strange world we live in.
Yeah.
Everything is changing. 20 years ago we had thousands of magazines in the bookshelves and, in bookstores, and now we only have a small, limited number. And so paper's out, and now the internet's back and, strong, and it's a world that is just there's too many channels, maybe. It's just crazy. So it's easy to get glued into one area and not look around and try to mix it up with different ideas. So you've been here 2 years, and you're going to stay. What's your plan?
So we're staying here for some time yet. We are definitely going to plan to leave in some point, because I guess we are also getting in an age of globalization. We can go so many places so fast and so easy. And I think also because of the type of work I do, it's very easy to move from one place to another place. And I think it's very important for anyone to see what's out there before saying, okay, this is a place I want to stay forever.
Right.
As you mentioned before, this sense of having an adventure.
Yeah, having an adventure.
Yes. And being young.
Yes.
And having the privilege of saying, okay, we can plan to move somewhere else. It's a great opportunity, and if we have the opportunity, I don't think why we shouldn't take it, to see what's out there.
Yeah, do it. And you're waiting for your wife to finish school, or finish what?
Yes, so she's doing her PhD. Yeah.
Doctor.
Yes, smart person.
A little bit of competition to your master or bachelor's degree. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Do you have to call her doctor when she finishes?
Probably, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't call her honey anymore, or dear, or yes. Okay, then she's got how many more years?
It's a PhD, so it can go anywhere from 4 years to 8 years.
I think you're going to be in Taiwan for a long time. I encourage you to take side trips to Asia, different places. But you're not leaving anywhere for a while to live. 8 years. Wow.
Yes.
What's the program?
So she also does social science. She studies a lot of cooperation and influence of countries. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So where did you two meet?
Funny enough, in the university. Yeah.
Here?
Yes. So while I was doing my first year of my bachelor's, she was doing her last.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And because she did global politics and economics.
Oh.
We had classes that were very similar. We actually share a couple of classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we also had friend in common. I mean,
similar friends, same country or same country area or?
yeah, same continent you can
Yeah,
say, because
okay,
there's
okay.
a Latin American
Right,
community in Taiwan, and in the university we will know this person was from Paraguay, Brazil,
Sure.
Honduras, Peru, so we kind of all knew a little bit of everyone,
It's kind of like how Americans feel about Canadians.
Yeah.
But not really. Well, how often do you go back home to see your family, parents?
It's been a while, to be honest. The last time I was in Peru, I think it was 2017. And we were planning to go, and then the pandemic showed up.
It's very
But was super lucky that my mom got to come to Taiwan last year, so she explored the country that I live, and she saw the differences, and she loved it. Yeah, it's a great place.
It makes a big difference when one of your parents come over to see. They were always afraid for you, and
yeah,
I brought my mother over, and she didn't worry. Never again. She was like, this is great. I love it. You're happy. Stay. It makes a big. I brought over younger relatives, like nephews and nieces, to come over and experience another foreign culture for the summer, and they always leave very different. It's been an outstanding way of educating them for free. I come from a small farming community, and they don't really understand the world. Even with the internet, they don't seem to really understand how things work. So what, if she's going to be here for another 6 to 8 years, you're going to definitely be Taiwanese before you leave.
I mean, probably it's going to be less than that time.
The
but
pressure. Okay,
yes, I think at one point I might start learning Taiwanese as well, Yeah.
Now, when you got did you have to get a tattoo license to practice this? Or is there rules here or laws?
In Taiwan, it's more open. You don't really need, because I think the United States, you even need to have hours that you need to tattoo before you get a license. So you tattoo.
That's new too, actually.
Yeah.
For the past 20 years.
In Taiwan, there's not regulations like that. It's not very strong. Yeah, it's not like in Korea, you need to be a doctor, like a medical doctor to be a tattoo artist.
A doctor, medical.
Yes. So
it's just a tattoo.
Yeah, there's a lot of underground tattoos.
Oh, I bet there is. Yeah.
Because I think if you're studying for like 10 years to be a doctor, you're not going to be doing tattoos after that,
When I first got here, 1993, there were no tattoo parlors. You couldn't find them. I don't know where they were, but I asked around, and they said, we don't do that here. I go, okay, you can do it in Hong Kong, which is a 30-minute trip. And then I went down to Kaohsiung for a trip, and there were a few there, because that's a Navy port. That's the sailors, and a lot of women had them too. And I thought, ooh, okay, this is a different world down in Kaohsiung. But wow, you have some free time to learn new things, and I really appreciate you coming and talking to our folks. And I hope you come back on in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you very much, and that's another episode. And take care.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.